It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake, Scott, Ben Anderson. It's time for the top three stories of the day at KSLSports.com. It's brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. Hatch in for Christian once again today. Where do you want to start, Hatch?
Number one, BYU Cougars retain Robert Wright III.
Jake, you went a little viral for your last take on Rob Wright when he entered the transfer portal, that this wasn't going to be a major loss for BYU. How do you feel about him coming back to BYU?
Well, I don't necessarily agree with Kevin Young that he's the best point guard in the country, but
that might be a stretch.
I get it why they would sell that.
He's one of the point guards in the country. No, he's a good point guard.
But does he play point guard? That's why I want to see him. I don't like what BYU's offense devolved into this year.
Yeah.
And he was part of that, not his fault.
It is a thing that happens when you have star players, and Rob plays like a star, and
right.
AJ was clearly a star. It naturally gets take-turny. We've talked about it a lot, whether it's, the Oklahoma City Thunder historically, or there was fear that it would happen with the Lakers, with Luka and LeBron. When you have great players, it is a little bit of what happens.
Yeah. So I think, say what you will about Mark Pope, I think his last team at BYU really played like a team. I mean, they were successful because of the way that they played. They got open shots because they were very team on three, Ben. And yes, that dynamic gets a little dicey when you're landing the best recruit in the country. I fully understand that. And Rob Wright himself is somebody who's in high demand because he's not in high demand because he sucks.
Sure.
So how does Kevin Young find a way to use him next year? I think will be the critical question.
We've debated this when it comes to Keontae George, and is Keontae going to naturally evolve into just scoring 29 points a game, because that's what so many guards of his ilk do, and is that actually good for your basketball team or not? And looking at it with BYU, as good as Bruce Branch III should be, he's not AJ DiBonsa, and you've got Jake Whalen coming back, and you've got, I know he went to Utah, Wallin, excuse me, Colin Chandler coming to BYU. It's not as talented as what they were last year, as far as top-tier A.J. DiBonsa caliber talent. So they may naturally play like a team, but sometimes when you have that gap, you end up with a ball-dominant point guard holding the ball a lot.
Yeah.
So we may see even more Rob Wright next year. I'll be curious how he balances that.
I don't think that would be better for BYU.
I agree. BYU's not going to be better without A.J. DiBonsa, probably.
He's a point guard who had a 0-assist game.
He's got a little bit of that in him.
That is not winning basketball, in my opinion. So we'll see. But he's obviously talented. I mean, speaking of Pope, he wasn't banging down his door to get him because he sucks.
Right.
Although Pope's judgment of talent lately has been a little askew.
Do you think?
What, do you think that Kentucky underperformed because Pope is a moron, or did they underperform because they recruited the wrong players?
Yeah, I do think he has a system. I think he's gotten billed a little bit as a car salesman or a rah-rah guy, which he has that. But he ran really good stuff at BYU. They ran really cool stuff, I thought, and generated a ton of open looks. And then for some reason he recruited a bunch of non-shooters at Kentucky last year. It didn't really make any sense other than Chandler. So I'm not ruling out Pope's abilities to succeed. It may not work at Kentucky because they want top-tier guys and not just necessarily role guys, fit guys. And that's a problem with taking a job if you're a system coach trying to go and coach at Kentucky. That might be a failure. That might just be a bad fit for him. But I think he can have some success.
Are you a role guy, at the restaurant before dinner?
Free bread?
Do you slam the rolls? See, I always worry about ruining my dinner, so
I try not to.
I never eat the rolls.
I try not to. Yeah.
But I see some people sit down and they're like, I'm going to put down 25 of these things before you even order.
There's a big article about this, the best free bread in America in the Atlantic over the weekend. My wife was nonstop talking about it. You have like obvious that jump to the front of your mind?
What, like the best rolls?
The best roll, like the free bread that they feed you.
No.
Texas Roadhouse has to jump to the top of the list, right?
Well, I know everybody likes Red Lobsters. What are they?
Yeah. That's true. I'd forgotten about Red Lobster. Haven't gone there in a while. But yeah, they've got the little.
Are you a roll guy, Hatch? Do you slam the rolls before?
I used to be. I've since changed my ways.
Okay. Yeah, because you ruin one like nice steak dinner because you just slammed a bunch of rolls.
I did it. I've done it too many times and realized, you know what? I'm here for the actual steak part of this. Like the rolls are great and all, but I'm here for the main course.
All right. Anyway, that jumped to mind when Ben said roll player.
Market Street
roll guy
does the if you go and do the brunch, they do like the orange cinnamon rolls before. Those are good too. I think those are free. Maybe they're not free. I don't know. Slammed too many of those in my life.
What's next, Ash?
All right, number 2. Philadelphia 76ers and the Golden State Warriors advance in the NBA play-in tournament.
Man, end of the Clippers. I don't know if it's era, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tyronn Lue moves on. I wouldn't be surprised if Kawhi doesn't sign a contract extension this offseason. And he's got 1 year left on his deal, but I wonder if they start to look elsewhere with Kawhi, try and trade him to get some stuff back. They don't have their pick. They're handing another lottery pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's amazing. Oklahoma every year seems to have a lottery pick, and they've got an 8% chance moving into the top 4. It's completely unprotected. I fully expect that to happen. But just a collapse from the Clippers. And I will admit, it was really fun to see Steph go vintage Steph, and they have absolutely they probably beat the Suns in the next play-in game tomorrow night. They're going to get wiped off the face of the earth by the Oklahoma City Thunder. But it was fun to see Steph kind of put on his cape one more time and just drain 3 after 3 after 3, knowing that you know what's coming, you know what he wants to do, and you simply cannot stop it.
Do you remember the game that Dennis Pitta beat the Donks in the AFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl? The Ravens beat the Broncos to go to the Super Bowl.
I know the scenario better than the specifics.
So I was watching that game at the Poplar Street Pub downtown. And at the table next to us was the most obnoxious Bronco fan that you've ever come across. And he was also a Ute fan because he had his Ute hat on. I mean, just like you couldn't even associate with the people you were there with because he was so loud and obnoxious. So Dennis Pitta, you know what play I'm talking about, right, Hatch? Dennis Pitta basically single-handedly beats the Broncos, and the Ravens go to the Super Bowl. And the look of just total like destruction of this guy's soul in one play, I could not have enjoyed something more.
It was very thorough.
This guy looked like somebody just, like what I picture a stockbroker would look like during the crash of 19, whatever that was.
29.
Yeah.
I mean, just ruined his life. I enjoyed it so much. It was just amazing. I feel that way about Steve Ballmer.
Okay.
That guy is so obnoxious
I had the same thought
so
last
in
night.
your face and such a bozo that when you'd see the look of him just destroyed because he has the ultimate hard luck franchise in the NBA and it always goes south because you're the Clippers, and watching him have to digest that is just hook it into my veins.
There was something very Clippersy about all of it, right? You host the All-Star game. You've got your super stadium or arena that you've built. You've got Kawhi Leonard. He's the best player on the floor through the first 3 quarters. They're in not total control, clearly, but somewhat control of this game. And it just collapses the way the Clippers always collapse. And he has to sit there and watch it, despite the fact that he's the richest owner and one of the richest people on the entire planet. You can't somehow shake the stink of the Clippers off of you.
Do you remember the trope in the 90s of the movie trope in the 90s of you take an attractive person, put glasses on them, and give them a boring like hairstyle.
Yeah, so she's all that kind of the key.
And then the end of the movie, they take her hair out of the bun and take off her glasses.
Rachel Lee Cook's a total babe.
Wow. But can you imagine if you did that in real life where you just took a very non-attractive person and then gave them a different hairstyle and took their glasses off and they'd still be that unattractive person? Like if that happened in real life, that would, like you take the Clippers You give them a new building. You give them the richest owner in sports. A guy who's coming in and says, you know what, we're gonna take a bite out of the Lakers and all this stuff. And you realize, still the Clippers, man.
Lipstick on a pig.
They're still gonna blow it.
Doesn't matter how nice the shade is.
Did you see that Chris Paul sent out a snap talk of, I don't know, how would you describe the meme? It's
the guy at the funeral making sure that the guy that is in the casket is actually dead.
Is that I showed up to ensure that the mortal enemy was actually dead.
Because Chris Paul was actually cut by the Clippers earlier this year. And Larry Frank, the architect of all of this, somehow got a contract extension this year.
Yeah.
Probably because he has blackmail on the bozo owner.
Something.
I mean, but anyway, way to go, Clippers. Clippers being Clippers. How many movies were like that in the 90s?
At least a couple.
Oh, yeah. All over the place.
And then, the Orlando Magic fumble as well.
Speaking of the Magic, I was looking through our NBA predictions before the season started. Do you know who I had predicted in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Whomst?
The Cavs versus the Magic.
Okay.
Do you know who you predicted in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Knicks. Hawks?
Magic.
Knicks, Magic. Magic by far one of the most disappointing teams in the league this year.
You and I, for the entire existence of this show so far, which goes back to 2021 or 2022, I get confused.
21, I think.
2021. Have been waiting for the Magic to turn the corner. You and I are both like, I kind of like what they're doing.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. This could be the year. I picked them to beat the Cavs in a first round series. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
They need to fire their coach.
Yeah, Mosley's
Again.
He's a dead man walking. No question.
Hasn't Banchero already said that he doesn't want to? He's going to demand a trade, or somebody said in his camp that he's going to demand a trade if they don't fire.
They're going to trade probably one of Banchero or Wagner.
See, even that would be the wrong thing to do.
I think they should just get a new coach and see if they can actually run an offense and see if that fixes some of their problems. But I think they're going to go aggressive.
I know. What if we move the all-star player?
They're a little bit the Clippers of the East. A little more respectable, but a lot of the same issues.
Well, whatever. I'm not taking Philly seriously either. The play-in is just such a waste of time. I know the games were good.
Yeah, games were fun. They'll be fun tomorrow, too.
Still a waste of time. Next.
Number 3, the Utah Mammoth are going to officially face the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round of the playoffs. By the way, we found out officially Sunday is when it'll start.
Do we know what time?
We don't know what time yet. That'll come out later tonight.
Very exciting. Very cool for the Mammoth, though I do know everybody was saying, avoid Edmonton at all costs. Be careful what you wish for. There are some real dudes on this Vegas team. And again, 7-0-1 in their last 8 games after firing their coach. They're on a heater.
I found what Nick was talking about interesting about the differential stat, just because he was talking about how penalties just don't get called in the playoffs. Yeah. That is similar to basketball, where the refereeing and all that gets a little looser, and they let them go. And so I'll be curious to see how the Mammoth react to that.
But that might not be bad, because the Golden Knights are a better special teams team than are the Mammoth. They're better on the power play. Yeah. They're better on the penalty kill. If there are fewer penalties, that's probably good for the Mammoth.
Well, my concern is what type of team they are. They're a speed team.
Yeah.
And so
if you can knock them around.
If you can knock them around, and if it's not officiated as closely, that's usually how you beat speed teams. Why did the D'Antoni's Phoenix Suns never go anywhere?
Yeah.
Because they'd get beat up in the playoffs, and So,
and Keller's not a big dude. He's such a key player. He's not a big person. So if you can rough him up a little bit, and there's no risk of penalties or less risk of penalties, certainly that might not be an advantage.
So I wonder. But McDavid's a fine for Edmonton. Is a great playoff player, and he's all about speed. So, I'll be curious to see what happens.
I'm excited. This is brand new. I'm excited to learn how this changes throughout a series, much the same way basketball does.
Stay tuned. We've got more Jake and Ben for you coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.